we're back with On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin, and we're talking about food is medicine. Reginald, what were you saying?
Yeah, no, I was talking about food, and I was looking at the different schools across the world where they feed their students. I mean, the kids. And I don't know if you can see it, but like stuff like in Brazil, in Brazil, that
looks food, beautiful.
Lunch in Brazil, and then you have different places like Italy. You have just the food that they have over there. I don't know if you can see it for their kids.
And then look at the colors on those plates. Look at the colors.
A lot of vegetables, a lot of fruit. Some countries don't even have meat. But look at American diet. Look what they give our kids.
It's brown.
We get a cookie. We the only one to have a cookie, processed fruit cup, peas, mashed potatoes, and chicken nuggets.
And the amount, when you start looking at the amount of sugar that's in all of that.
And sodium.
And you can tell the country by the way it treats its kids, and the way that we are brought up. We brought up from jump to eat wrong. You go to our cafeterias, you have pizzas, you have Jell-O, and the processed foods. Across the world, you see those countries, they have a lot of greens and vegetables on the plate, real fruit, not fruit cups, real grapes and things like that. So, and then you wonder why when I was a kid, you didn't hear about kids having diabetes as much as you have kids now. You have little kids, elementary school, junior high school, are diabetic, obese.
Yeah.
See that. You didn't see nobody in the 70s on Soul Train was obese.
Nope. And people weren't dying of diabetes. Like if somebody had diabetes when we were kids, that was a huge deal. There weren't a whole bunch of kids with diabetes. There was like one kid in the school with it, and everybody knew about it, and it was a huge, huge thing. Now people dying of diabetes, like this weekend we're gonna bury my cousin, and she had diabetes. She had 9 strokes. 50 years old. She shouldn't have, that should not have happened. And not only was her death something that speaks to the food that we eat, but it also speaks to the poor quality of health care that is received by Black and brown people, because her mother found her foaming at the mouth. She called the ambulance. The ambulance comes out. They get her back to where she's responding, and they left her there. So the next day, by morning time, her mom goes in and she's completely unresponsive. She's had 9 strokes and, never came back from it. And the way that the hospital folks talked to her about her, needing to go ahead and move her off of the machines and stuff. That it's bad enough that your child is gone, so that's something that nobody wants to experience. But then to kind of be, let's move this down the road.
Yeah, well,
it's like, wow, this whole thing is messed up.
And like the doctor was saying, a lot of stuff can be preventative. Like they always talk about preventative medicine.
Yep.
But by preventative, nutrition. So I think a lot of it has to do with, like you say, what we put in our mouths every day, and to break that habit. It's hard. You just can't tell. Like you say, you can't tell nobody just this what you're supposed to do. I mean, it's a process. You have to build up to it. Sometimes you might can substitute one thing for something healthy, and just keep. And after a while, you get used to it, and you start. Like now, I don't even crave certain things that I used to do. I never had a drink. I never drank alcohol in my life. Never had a drink in my life. So I don't even think about drinking because I never had it before. So then I stopped eating pork. Like when I was in the 8th grade, I never ever. Somebody put a pork chop in front of me, man. I have no desire to eat it because I stopped in the 8th grade. So but my bad thing is. The ice creams and stuff. That's what I have to eat. If I get found that Ben and Jerry's peanut butter cup ice cream, I'd be real. Sit here and slip there and do it, but I'm getting a little bit better because I used to do it all the time. Now I might do it maybe once a month or something like that. But I need to just cut it out because I heard one doctor also say, somebody say, well, you can do everything in moderation. He said, well, can you do cocaine in moderation?
Because sugar is very, you got, it feels like that, right?
For example, somebody, he say vegan, but that's extreme. He said, no, let me show you extreme. And he's a heart doctor. He went and showed the person open heart surgery and they snatched his fat out of the artery. He said, now that's extreme.
Yes.
That's extreme,
Yeah. Yeah. And I think that these things all, as, like right now we're pushing legislation in the state of Texas and we're doing a good job. But I will say that early detection and prevention needs to begin with hospital systems and doctors, because right now our hospitals are places where people go to die, where people go for illnesses. And hospitals really should be places where good health is being promoted and you are getting better. Doctors should be places where you go where good health is being promoted and you're getting better. But nobody is being rewarded or compensated for good health. They're rewarded and compensated for infections, amputations, blindness, for major illnesses. That is where the money is, and that's the medical payment model. And so, we got some things working against us, because if I'm going to be compensated for you being sick, I'm not necessarily going to work too hard to get you unsick.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that takes it back to the reality.
Yeah.
And it has to start
with us.
It has to start in the family.
Yeah.
In the church, you can help to promote family health, and it should be in the schools, in the elementary school, in kindergarten. We should be teaching them how to eat and how to live and how to be healthy. And so we used to teach health, but health was never really about helping you be healthy completely. And I think that you're talking about food. You're talking about food as medicine. Our reality is, we talk about drug addiction, but our food addiction is the biggest problem in our country.
Yes.
Fentanyl, it's killing people, but people die every day because of their diet.
Yes.
We're not acknowledging that the kidney disease was created by diet, that the heart attack was caused by diet, that the stroke was caused by diet, that where we are is because of what we have eaten. We're literally eating ourselves to death.
Yes,
and we're killing ourselves with food. And we want to point out the alcoholic, we want to point out the drug addict, but the food that we can't stop eating is really a major problem. And I think that people have a hard time admitting that they are addicted to grease. Gotta have that French fry.
Yep.
Gotta have the ice cream. Gotta have the cookie. And so we have serious sugar addiction. We have serious addictions to all kinds of food. And I think that we don't recognize it as such. We don't call it what it is. And because we don't, we still live in denial of the reality that we're eating ourselves to death. And our primary problem is food, the kind of food that we eat and how we approach just what we call living. You know, we think that eating a bunch of crazy stuff is having a good time. Yeah. When in fact, we
celebrate with food. We celebrate with food.
Look, in our family, everything centers around food. Mother's Day, they ain't talking about church. They talking about what's going to be on the menu for lunch. Easter, they ain't talking about Jesus. They want to know, are we having turkey and dressing?
That's true.
Thanksgiving, we ain't giving thanks. We want to know what the menu is.
Yep. Yeah. And we don't think we're addicted to this. I will tell you, like, I gained some weight during the pandemic, as many did. And so I was like, okay, let me fix this. And as soon as, so I started looking at, okay, what are the ways that, I used to be really heavy and I lost 187 pounds like 13 years ago. And so I went back and looked at, okay, what did I do and how did I do that? Well, one of the things that I did was unplug from television. I stopped watching TV. And I thought I'd just stop watching TV for like 3 months. Or 3 weeks or something like that. And it ended up being 3 or 4 years that I watched no television. But I did that. So started dialing back television, which I never went back to watching a bunch of TV. So it wasn't a problem to pull back from television. And then I did intermittent fasting. So I would eat in a window. And so I started moving myself back to that. That's what I've been doing for the last probably month or so. And as soon as I said, okay, no sugary drinks, like no sweet tea, none of that, and start cutting that out, I thought I was about to die. I had headaches. I had all this stuff, and I was like, what is wrong with me? Like, what's going on with me? It was the sugar.
Yes.
Because I was so used to drinking those sweet teas and the sugary drinks. I wasn't drinking a bunch of sodas, but as soon as I started pulling back from that, I really saw like how addicted to sugar I really was. And I never saw myself as addicted to something like that. But that's exactly what it was. I mean, I literally had headaches for like 2 or 3 days before I could feel the goodness of the water that was going into my body. I was like, now, when I take a sip of water, it feels good. It feels refreshing. I thought that first 3 days, I was like, Lord Jesus, carry me through. Because I can't do it.
But actually, I'm gonna tell you. Actually, Doctor. I was listening to this guy the other day, and because I am diabetic, and he was saying about fruit. He said, diabetics should eat a lot of fruit. Just go on a total fruit diet. I say, well, that'll make your sugar go up. He say, he would say, no. He say, I'm telling you, it's the kind of glucose that the fruit sugar put in your pancreas is different than the sugar that, refined sugar. And he was saying that, and I tried it. And I was I'm doing the fruit thing, and I noticed my blood sugar levels are low. And that's amazing because I was eating fruit before and it was making my sugar go up, but I was eating other things with it.
It's the combinations of the foods.
Yeah.
It's all
Noticing that when I eat this, I'm doing this fruit thing, and my sugars is like, boom. I'm like, wow. So it's amazing how many, the information that we don't have when it comes to nutrition. You know what I mean? They started off the food pyramid. Anything they got milk is like on top of the food pyramid in the United States, and that's one of the worst things to put in your body now. It's milk because it causes mucus, right? So, we started off in the education part of nutrition. Started off, behind the gun.
And they're still putting out poor information on nutrition. Still putting it out because
and that's because in a capitalistic society,
there you go.
Everything is about money, and so nobody they don't care about your health. They care about selling their products, and that's the real issue is that we're being sold products that are not good for us, but they're only good for the economy of the company selling the product. And so part of what we have to understand is that I'm sure that there is some good in most products, but our reality is we need to know what we need to be healthy ourselves.
Yes.
So we have to look at what's required for us to be in good health. And we really need to talk to nutritionists. And we also need to understand that all of our bodies are different. All of our bodies will respond differently to different things. And so I think that it's important to note that I know that fruit has sugar in it, but the sugar in the fruit is not a problem if you're not sneaking candy bars.
Yeah. The problem with what we call sugar and other things is that it's actually high fructose corn syrup. What you're talking about, Reginald, is natural sugar that is in fruit, and that is your body can process that. High fructose corn syrup, however, your body does not process that well, and it is in everything, and it certainly has the addictive properties that we're talking about. Yeah. No one that puts high fructose corn syrup in their products will say that it has addictive properties, but one can only assume that it does because every time you're eating something that for any length of time that has it in there, you stop, then that's when you find out that it does. But I support what you're saying because. And so does, there's a lot of statistical data that supports what you're saying about food and the importance of eating whole, natural foods. What are you going to say, Reg?
A question too, Dr. Brent. I was telling Tiffany, I think last week, we talking about, me and Kevin, I think talking last week about, my wife was reading this book about eating according to your blood type. You heard of that? Because like I'm A positive, and they say A positive people are not meat eaters because we don't have the protein in our stomach to break the meat down. What can you tell us about something about is that something that is becoming more in the forefront now?
So there are books written in the 80s that I've read about eating according to your blood type, because your blood type matters, and what your body needs matters. That's why I say all of us are different. And so because I'm old, I need meat, and my body, in order for me to be healthy, I need meat every now and then in order for everything to work the way it's supposed to work. But there are other blood types that do not require meat, that you should be vegetarian and you should be able to be really healthy, not eating meat. But
type O eat eaters. They say type O blood type is straight meat
That's what I'm saying.
They have to have,
I have to have meat, and in order to be healthy. And so, right. So I just had a physical. I still eat meat. I don't eat meat every meal. I don't eat meat all the time, but I eat meat, and so my cholesterol is not high. All my blood is normal. I think my A1C is like 4.1, and so I don't, it, but it is the blood.
I bet you don't know your kidney number.
I don't, but I was told that everything with my kidneys.
Okay, we need to know your EGFR. And I don't care if they. Now I have said this, and I will say this to you and to everybody that's listening to us. It is not an acceptable answer that everything is okay. If there is a number attached to blood work, and especially the estimated glomerular filtration rate, that's your EGFR, and your albumin creatinine your albumin to creatinine ratio, you need to know what those numbers are. You don't want to hear it's okay. And the reason why you don't want to hear that is because kidney disease is not diagnosed until you're in stage 3 for 3 months. That means that you can be in stages 1, 2, and 3 and have your practitioner see that, and they're not going to say anything to you. It is the only discipline where that is done, and that is considered best practices. Any other illness, if it were cancer or anything else, and they saw you in stage 1, 2, or 3 and did not report it to the patient, that would be considered negligence. But in kidney disease, it's best practices. That's why I stop everybody. I know it sounds terrible, but it's the truth. That's why I stop everybody. Anytime somebody tells you your numbers are good, no, go back. Talk to them, because by the time you're in stage 3 of kidney disease, you've lost nearly 50%, and sometimes over 50% of your kidney function, and that is not okay. That's not good numbers. I don't care what they have to say. That's a good business model number. It's not a good number for you and your health and the quality of your life. So do not accept that as an answer. I don't care how nice your doctor is, how much you like him, how great he or she is. I'm sure they are great. I'm sure they are wonderful. You need to know the number.
And I do have all the numbers. I just don't remember.
Okay. I'm not lecturing you, Dr. Brian. I know it sounds like that. I'm just telling the people that are listening. Okay. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
You know how to put it up if you had to, right?
Pull it up.
I'm dialing it in right now.
Looking at it now. You've been listening to On the Record with Tiffany and Kevin, and thank you, Reginald Ballard, for being here and for talking with us today and lending your voice to kidney advocacy, because it is us. We are the ones that have to empower people to know what their numbers are, what their options are, things like healthy food, and that people are eating more vegetables. People are eating well and living well because of it. And thank you, Dr. Brian, for everything that you're doing to improve our community and to bring better health, good food, and promoting families, because that really is, it can be a family affair to do this.